Hello, everyone. Every week when I have to start and say, hello, everyone, and fill this couple minutes, I just want you to know that it's my favorite time. My favorite is also that every time we post it to Instagram TV, it starts with this awkward period where it's just me. Is this what being a solo artist would be like? No, thank you. I really rely on Sara. I think that's when my humor really comes out. Hi, everyone. Thanks for saying hi. I'm going to look for Sara. This doesn't get easier, by the way. Every week it's just exactly the same. Hi, Brian. Hi, Amanda. Hi, Jenny. Sometimes I feel like it's just people I know that watch. Well, I feel like all of you I know, in a way. And you're certainly getting to know us. Thanks for tuning in. I wonder what Sara has in store for us. I'm always curious where we're going to find Sara. And we're about to find her because she just requested to go live with me. I'm accepting her. This is the jumpsuit I got in San Francisco, yes. We've been passing it around. Hi, Sara.
How's it going?
Good. Let me know if you can't hear me because I don't have my earbuds in today because it's quiet outside. But if it gets hard to hear me, let me know and I'll put mine on. In. In.
Can
Well,
you hear
they're
me okay?
on. They're on. Yeah. Ma'am?
I'm excited. I'm excited to show you something. I want to get it out of the way though.
Okay, great.
I got a new tool.
Okay. Should we be seeing it? Because we're not seeing it. We
No, I'm showing you the area where I'm going to use the tool.
Okay.
All right, ready?
Okay, here we go. What? Hey, do you think you
Wait.
can bring your power washer here and clean?
Yeah, absolutely. Pretty cool though, right?
It's very awesome. I have a lot of questions about it, but can I first just say you never confirmed, but can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you okay.
Okay, great. Uh, looks very satisfying. Is
It's
I
super sad.
be able to do your house and stuff too?
It's going to be satisfying. Talk for a minute while I shut down just to make sure that it's safe.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Um, very excited. Sarah is the only person in our immediate family who has a house, so we're enjoying all the time. Power washer though, that's the first one that I'm like. Um, we were allowed to wash. We were allowed to clean our decks. At we were allowed to clean once a year. We missed our day, but they don't really allow power washers. What the fuck are you up to? What's happening?
Well, I had to shut down the power washer, so I had to like unplug it and I had to shut the water down and it's a little bit of a situation when you use it, you know?
I see. I see.
But now I'm done. So now I just wanted to make sure that you saw the power washer.
Okay. Well, great. I'm glad I saw it. I'm gonna put my earbuds in because people say sometimes it cuts out. I know it's a problem when one of us is using. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for the update, you guys. Keep me posted if this makes it better.
That does seem to be making it better.
It does make it better? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, just every week we just learn something new.
Yeah. Was there a reason why didn't you want to use the earbuds? You have something against earbuds now?
No, I guess I don't really. I think like I don't know, they kind of look stupid in my ears and I was all like, do I need them? Okay, everyone's saying it's better. Thank you for noticing, Sara. Do you see that I'm in front of a different background today?
Yeah, it looks like you have another part of your indoor garden behind you.
Yes. Yeah, this plant right here, I'll get out of the way so y'all can see it a bit better. Here. This grows I would say like no exaggeration, like I don't know, a foot every month. I just keep having to cut it off because when it hits the ground, it just seems messy to me. So I get rid of it. But
I get a lot of sunlight in my place, so I have a lot of plants that just do really, really well here. Feel very
Mm-hmm.
lucky about that. But um, yeah, I decided to switch and came inside. It's or came into the interior part of my apartment because you said that all I ever do is sit in front of a white wall. So here's something
Yeah.
more interesting. Don't you feel like I feel pressured to like not like have you been there's this Twitter account that I'm following. I'm not going to say what the Twitter account is, but they rate like people's their backgrounds when they're on like video chat or Instagram live or whatever. And it's such a funny account because they talk about like people's lighting and the placement of their plants or their books on their bookshelf. And I just don't want anyone, I don't want anyone to be distracted looking at what's behind me. This felt non-offensive. It's just a plant, some books. I obviously like books. There you go. You can
It's
see
great. Yeah.
it goes on for a while. A lot of books.
We got it. You can read.
Ah,
Um, well, cool. Yeah, so let's get
how's it
this party
going?
started. Good. Sorry, I feel like we had to start with the climactic moment of using my power washer, but it's mostly because what I realized it's truly one of the only power tools that I've bought that I feel concerned about my safety when I use it because it involves electricity and water.
I
And
see.
so I didn't really feel comfortable. And it's like, there's a lot of rules. Like, it's really scary when you buy these tools because I'm sure people hurt themselves all the time and, cut fingers off and blow up generators. And, like, I don't know. Have you ever had a barbecue? Very stressful hooking up a propane tank.
I
But,
haven't.
and yet there are like things that people do all the time. Like, this is not, I'm not trying to be like judgmental about people's intelligence levels. Like, we all do with what we were born with. And whatever. But like, I mean, can you imagine the kinds of jackasses that have managed not to kill themselves hooking up propane tanks? So you don't want to be somebody who accidentally blows yourself up with a propane tank.
Yeah,
It's so
fair.
windy. It's so windy here. Like, is the audio bad?
No, it seems
Okay.
fine. What
Check
do we
this
got?
out.
Holy shit. That
I mean,
okay,
it's
what that looks like is a troll doll holding onto your fern.
a troll doll holding onto the fern.
Yeah, because like the top of it kind of looks like it's hair, and then I don't know, the way that it looks on the screen, it looks like it's like clutching the top of the leaf. Like it's like not even attached.
Yeah. This does
That's a,
something for me that is somewhat unsettling. And I'm trying to lean into my tryptophobia a bit. Like, it's like some of the patterned area here is pretty
yeah, well
disturbing.
get it closer. Let's get a closer look here. It's really just quite incredible what
Isn't
nature
it?
produces.
It's remarkable. It's
Hmm.
remarkable.
Yeah,
Um,
very nice.
that's like a big excitement for me here in the yard. And then these are some of the new growth from this week.
Hmm.
Isn't that nice? Can you see the shades of green?
It's very beautiful.
Isn't that nice?
It's looking very lush.
It's really lush. Let me walk you over to my lavender.
Great.
Look at these guys.
So what are you gonna do? Do you do you harvest the
No,
lavender?
no. That's just going to be, just for some splash of purple color. Now, here's something unsettling that happened. I woke up this morning and I walked around the garden as I tend to do. And
Okay.
here, I'm just going to quickly reset up the scene of the crime. This was like this.
Okay, so there's what I can see is a hole with a stick
Yeah,
next to it.
this used to be in there.
Oh, so how did that get
Who
out?
knows? My guess, my
Like
guess is
little,
that like some kind of bug or not bug, sorry, some kind of bird or raccoon maybe or something dug it out. I don't know.
huh?
Pretty weird, right?
Yeah, it's kind of like this morning I came out of the office and Sophia had gone to work, but the dishwasher had been like all the dishes from the sink were in the dishwasher and like hadn't heard her do that, so I'm pretty sure a ghost did
Yeah, that sounds exactly like what I'm talking about.
it.
I thought this week I would really show off my ferns.
It's really big. I mean, it's
Can
clear
you?
even without a size reference, it's clear that that is a very large fern.
It's gigantic. Like, let me see if I can. Hold on. Like, here's a size reference. Like, this is my foot.
No, ma'am, you can't see the fern with your foot. That doesn't, it can't be part of the size reference.
Okay.
No. Oh yeah. Okay, back up, back up, back up.
Well, I only have one shoe on, so I don't really want to go very far.
Well, just go a little bit back further so we can get some perspective. Yeah, that's a big ass fern.
Right?
Yeah.
That looks like a teenage skateboarder met their end.
It's looking beautiful.
And got
So
buried in a fern garden. Yeah, so there anyways, the whole garden is just exploded with
it's
all this
looking
new
really good.
growth.
Yeah,
That's
it's
cool.
it's pretty trippy.
It is pretty trippy. I mean, they're just gigantic. They're quite a lot bigger than last year because last year we had a bit of a situation where an overzealous gardener trimmed back all of our. Where the fuck is my drink?
Uh-oh, Sarah's lost her drink.
Oh, there it
Wait,
is.
man, it's nauseating.
Sorry.
What'd you get? What are you drinking today?
This is a gin spritz.
Tell me all about it.
It's got gin in it, and it's got some carbonated water,
Okay.
and it's got lime in it.
So we're having the same thing. Cheers.
Oh, is that really what you're having?
Yeah, I'm drinking Aviator gin
Okay.
with some sparkling water.
Is
With
Aviator a brand? Because you should. Are they paying you to say that? Because I don't know if
they
I would say
aren't.
that.
They aren't, but they should. And then lemon and lime. Cheers. Cheers, everybody
Cheers.
watching. Now I know what we're drinking. Okay.
Um, so I thought today we could, now that I've got all the gardening stuff out of the way,
Sure.
um, is there anything else you wanted to see in my garden? Do you want to see Mom's Gunnera that she brought over? Are
Yeah.
you fine?
I mean, I'd like to see it. I also would love a mushroom update.
Oh, Christ. I mean, I can't really go out there because it's the front yard. Here's the Gunnera.
Wow. It's very cute. It's like if a palm tree were green.
Yeah,
It
dinosaur
look
food. They,
it looks like it looks like a little lettuce. It looks like a toy. It looks like one of those play sets with fake greenery.
oh yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. Well, there's a lot of mushrooms out front today, but I'm embarrassed to go out there because it's really busy right now. There's a lot of people walking their dogs, and I'm scared that they're going to see me talking to a video, and they're going to be like, "What are you doing?" What's wrong with
Just
my
yell,
bangs?
"I'm an influencer" over your shoulder.
Well, I don't know that about that. I can't. My hair feels wrong.
You know what I noticed a lot last week is you touch your hair a lot. I think you need to
Well, it's
fucking
because
chill
my
out. Maybe you
bangs have.
should take like half an Ativan before we do Where's the Good Girl?
It's because my bangs have grown out. So
Well,
one of the
so
things.
maybe that's one of the things we can discuss. Vancouver is opening back up. You can go get a haircut. How do you feel about that?
Um, I feel fine about Vancouver opening back up. I mean, I think I'm giving people the benefit of a doubt. I think that there's a lot of, cultural social responsibility. And while I was out yesterday, and while I don't see, people wearing like full hazmat suits and masks and whatever, like I do see people still respecting social distance and still a lot of hand sanitizing and just general sort of like respect given to people, keeping space from each other. So I'm trying to keep an open mind and be hopeful. And I'm hope and just given the fact that Vancouver has been pretty successful at keeping the infection rate low. I'm trying to stay, I don't know, positive.
Yeah.
Not for COVID.
I was listening to a podcast. I really like this podcast Today Explained on Vox, if anyone's
Mhm.
interested, hosted by
Mhm.
a Canadian.
Mhm.
Anyway, the episode, I think it was yesterday's, was talking about, they were talking to someone who, I can't remember exactly what her title is, but she was talking about the importance and significance of parks and how it's great that a lot of parks are reopening, but talking about how shame is not a very useful tool, and that in this time where we're reopening, when you see people who are not wearing a mask or maybe aren't social distancing, that you should be compassionate when you like that our first instinct should not be to shame people who are not necessarily doing the right thing, because some people just don't know, and it's not really a useful tool, and that ultimately like the majority of us are following the rules and are striving to prevent spread. And I thought that was really nice, and it was a good reminder because my instinct, like the other day, Sophia and I went for a walk, and this guy was walking up the middle of the sidewalk, and the two of us, like as we started to near him, like maybe 20, 25 feet out, we sort of moved to the right, and because he didn't move to the left, we just walked into the street, and he just walked up the middle. And he wasn't like antagonizing us. Like I don't actually think he was doing it in any sort of like aggressive way or anything like that. It was just, but my instinct was to yell, "Why? Why? Move over! Can't you see?" But then I was like, I mean, we were wearing masks, but he was also
Hmm.
wearing jean shorts, and it was really much too cold for jean shorts. But anyway, but I'm trying
That's
to change
yeah.
my
I was
mindset and not jump to like anger or shame right now, and just try to be like, we're in a transitional period where things are going to open back up, and we'll see how it goes, right? And we have to
yeah.
approach with caution and compassion.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I found it interesting that um you took that approach to this conversation because I was going to say you and mom constantly bitch about people on our family chat, just endless
Yeah.
streams of complaining about the way people are not doing any of the things that they're supposed to do. So, I mean, I appreciate this sort of public performance of empathy and acceptance and
Well, I
understanding,
just
but
no, no,
you're,
no, no. Hold on a second. I said I listened to a podcast last night, and then I heard that, and I was like, that's how I'm going to approach. I didn't say this has been my mentality moving. Like I went for a walk a couple nights ago, and I messaged you and mom afterwards, and I told you guys that a bar up the street from us, that the patio was full, and that there was a lineup, and that no one had masks on. And I did bitch to you guys, but then I heard this podcast, and I was like, okay, I'm only going to get through this if I'm not angry all the time.
words to live by. Yeah, and I feel like I don't know if it's like, before all of this started, well, wasn't even before all of this started. We were fairly certain that this was going to happen. I don't think that anyone in our world projected this kind of like shutdown and just like the kind of like collapse of industries and,
Yeah.
harrowing stories out of the Northeast and like all of that kind of stuff. But like I went to Palm Springs about a week uh, before Vancouver and BC went into quarantine, like everybody sort of like shutting down, whatever. And I remember when I in the week leading up to the trip, I was like, God, it really feels irresponsible to take this trip. Like, like this virus could really become a thing, and are we sort of like, tempting fate here? But we had a great trip, and the whole trip we would sort of say like, oh, this is probably the last time we're gonna all see each other for a while or whatever. And this was after day drinking and like drinking those delicious frozen margarita type drinks and like swimming with my eyes open and mouth open in the pool, and there was just like people everywhere and
Who
like
swims
there
with their mouth open?
well, just enjoying the water, like you just like cascading through the water and your eyes are open. And then I just kept
Was
thinking
this
like,
at a pub? Was this at a public pool?
yeah, like at a hotel pool with just tons of people from all over the country who flew in to do whatever their version of spring break. There was a wedding, there was a humongous wedding. So like the night before the wedding, there was like some kind of bachelorette party, and
And all these people are in the pool, and then you get in the pool and you swim with your eyes and mouth open.
wide open. And and I would like be in my hotel room. I would be in my hotel room like, at the beginning of the day being like, okay, like wipe things down, remember hand sanitizer, whatever. But like after like three or four, frozen drinks, like there I am in the pool, like enjoying my, what to me seemed like, probably for at least a little while was going to be my last vacation. And the last day there was this kind of sobering reality of like, oh my God, I could be going back to Canada with coronavirus. And on the trip home, like on the flight home, I was like, I started having a bit of a panic attack. And like when we got back to the house, Stacy went to go get groceries and supplies, and we have this little suite that at the time was open, and I was like texting you and mom like, we can use it as a corona isolation chamber. I bleached it and cleaned it, and we like put like supplies in it, and I was imagining myself in the quarantine bunker, like being like having to go in there and get sick and like like the whole thing. And I was so worried, and I felt like I'd been so irresponsible by going to Palm Springs and swimming in the pool. And then actually it was you that got coronavirus, and you hadn't done any of that. And so I just thought we could finally talk about how we're quite certain you had coronavirus or some kind of immuno response to getting the coronavirus.
Yeah, no,
And
okay, well, hold on a second. I just want to unpack a little bit of what that tale you
okay,
just told.
okay,
But I'm gonna work backwards. But I was just gonna say, I also went to Palm Springs, not with you, but I also went. I went with Mom, and in February, and I went to LA.
yeah.
So yes, you traveled as well, but I did travel, and I no doubt also brought it. I brought it
But I
back for
traveled
us
in
recording.
March. Like we were like
No, I
traveling, and
know.
they
That I don't understand, but
no, you
it
told
happened.
me to go. I have text evidence. I said, do you guys think it's crazy that we're going? And you and Mom were like, go, absolutely go. And then you actually wrote me messages that said, you deserve it. You and Stacy deserve it. You should go to Palm Springs.
Yeah, the truth is, I don't even remember the timeline
Well,
because
you don't have to remember
a
because I have the
century has
text,
passed. I know a
but
century
I
has
have the
passed.
text.
Yes,
Hmm.
ultimately we both did some traveling. And yes, we've already talked about this a couple episodes on Where's the Good Grow ago. Um, that I got sick at the beginning of March and everybody laughed at me. Sophia was sick, then I got sick. We joked dozens and dozens of times. Sophia coughed for an entire week, and every night when she would get coughing, I would be like, COVID cough. That was like our joke. And then COVID came to North America, and we were like, oh shit, did we get the coronavirus? But yeah, as more and more symptoms and these sort of like weird offshoot specialty cases come out, it seems more and more likely because I did have some sort of immune response. I did get hives after I got sick, and my whole face peeled, and then I got all these blood blisters, and I got swelling and
Like your
all
eyes,
sorts.
like one time we FaceTimed,
Yeah, no,
like
I
Mom
looked
told me
fucked
that
up.
your
Yeah.
face looked messed up. And then so I FaceTimed you, and I was like, oh God, your face really does look messed up.
Yeah, but that happens all the time. I mean, yesterday I was I
No.
don't know. I have like weird allergies, but uh and I don't, who knows? I mean, this is the thing, right? Like, I mean, I've already seen so many people commenting that they had it. I mean, it's been going around. I mean, there's nothing I've been
Oh, has
doing.
it?
It's been going around. Yeah.
Oh, okay. You've heard it here
Anyway,
first, you guys. COVID's going around.
it is. It's going around. It's still going around. Approach life with caution. You
There's
can
too
still have
much
a good
ice in my
time.
drink.
Everything's gonna be fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just want
Yeah,
to
so.
take a moment.
Hmm.
Just let's slow this down.
Okay.
Let's take a breath.
Okay.
Everybody, all of us collectively, just taking a breath. Okay.
Are you trying to turn this from a gardening show into some kind of weird, annoying
No.
modern meditation program,
No.
or?
No. No. Just was. It was starting to feel amped up. I don't get a lot of stimulation. I don't get a lot of like dialogue
What?
and busyness during the week. So when I get on this call, sometimes I get a little it's a lot of things firing right now. So there's been a few questions I've made note of. Someone was asking for a dog update. You guys, I can't fucking get a dog. We have put in a bunch of applications. I don't know what to say. Here's what's happening. If it's a puppy, people are like, do not apply if you've never had a puppy before. Okay. Well, I haven't had a puppy before. And
What are
then
they
all
going to
the
give you
adult.
a lie detector test? Just say that you have.
Well, I'm a very honest person. I don't know what to say. Then it's like they post the adult dogs, and they're like, this dog was abandoned by its owner. It's 4 years old. She desperately wants a home. And I'm reading this thinking like, great. I'd love a 4-year-old dog. Sounds great. That sounds awesome. And then on the bottom in full caps, it's like, do not apply if you've never had an adult dog who has suffered emotional distress. You know, like must prove ability to, handle stressed out dog. And I'm like, I handle Sara. I mean, I tried using my celebrity. I applied for like sent comments to a few rescues from our Tegan and Sara account. Nothing. Cannot get an
Well, I don't
animal.
think using celebrity is always bad because like celebrities are always peeing in buckets and giving up the dogs because they bit another one of their celebrity friends. Like you don't use celebrity, but all the other stuff, just first of all, while I appreciate it, I do. It's also none of anybody's business. Like once you have the animal, if you want to like dress it up in a Santa's outfit, you're allowed to, which
I
I
know.
find that should be a question. Do you intend on dressing your dog up within the first 24 hours of getting it? That's embarrassing and idiotic.
Yeah. Well,
That's just
anyway,
my own personal opinion.
look, We're still looking. The short answer is that yes, Sophia and I are actively looking for a dog. Part of the problem is that there definitely are some dogs that we probably could get, but they're really big, 100-pound dogs, and we live in an apartment, and we just don't feel comfortable getting a massive dog. So we're definitely looking, in the under 40 pounds. Uh, Initially, we were looking under 20 pounds because we wanted to make sure we could be able to fly with the dog because we travel so much. But since it seems like we're never going to fly ever
There's
again,
no there's no airplanes anymore.
we moved it up to 40 pounds. But so that was one of the questions.
Can I just quickly
Yeah,
jump in? Do
please.
you remember last week when you publicly shamed our pets and said that they are not cuddly, they don't sit on laps, they're
Yeah, did you
like,
see my Instagram story the other day where I put our song with Rack about if you don't want me,
hmm
you don't deserve me, and then I put a photo of Holiday?
yeah. But I wanted you to know that they heard you and they've acted profoundly different. But this
What?
is Mickey is Mickey's hanging out.
Mickey! Hi, Mickey. I'm Mickey. I'm so fun. I'm so fun. You blow my mind. I'm Mickey.
So
I'm
just
Mickey.
again, another view, but he is sitting on my lap.
Huh. I'm very impressed.
So just
Very
because we
impressed.
don't constantly brag about how intimate we are with our pets doesn't mean that they don't love us. And just because they don't run and sit on you because you whatever are a warm meat sack, they're not cold, indifferent animals. They just don't know you. And you made a comment about how you don't think that they even know the difference between us, and I can assure you they do.
Mm,
And Mickey knows
fair enough.
exactly who his daddy is.
Yeah,
And
fair
he's
enough.
not interested in uncle. He's interested in daddy.
No idea what you're talking about, but that's great. Let's see
Come here.
Holiday.
She's coming. Come here. Come on. Come here.
Can you show us her?
No, she's out in the house. She's just crying because she wants to come out and she needs me to know that she wants to come out. But there's a whole process involved. Stop trying to pressure my animals to behave like circus pets. They do what they want when they want. By the way, um, I really feel you about. I'm not trying to like. I think it's really important that that these services and people,
Totally.
providing adoption, that they ask these questions and that they try to
Of
vet
course.
people. I really do, but it's also like, I don't think you have to be like 100% honest. You're not going to be like
Look,
Lori Loughlin
look.
going to jail for trying to get your kid on the rowing team, even though they've never held an oar. Like that's not
Yeah.
this.
Look, I keep saying this to Sophia. There's a reason why they're so intense. It's because people fucking give up their animals. People drop them off at the shelter, and I get it. I totally understand. I just I didn't think it was going to
People,
be
yeah.
this hard. I said this last week too. The reality is that Vancouver, it's different. Like we both live in the States for a long time. I lived in California for over 10 years. There's a lot of dogs on the street. There's a lot of smaller dogs. There's a lot of dogs that come up from other places. And
Yeah, they're on vacation, having frozen drinks in Palm Springs before Corona, and then they get trapped.
yeah, but it's not like it doesn't feel the same here. That's like, when we're out on the street, the kinds of dogs you see here, it's just different. It's just different. So anyway, but thanks for checking in about it. We're trying. We're gonna
Yeah.
keep trying. That's where we're at. Um, the other thing that we talked a lot about last week was music, but have you been talking about, or have you been working on any music this week?
Yeah, I've had a weird week. I haven't like been very productive. I have worked on music and I've
What does that mean? You keep saying that on all these calls we've been on that you're not productive. So what do you do? I'd just love to know.
like what do I think
Like,
what
what
do
is
you
that?
mean?
What do you do when you're not being productive right now? Like, we
Well, I
were
try
just
to
on a,
shift, do something else. Like I'm working on a bunch of different songs, and if I get into a flow and I'm really enjoying working on a song, sometimes days will disappear and I'll just stay in that zone in that song, and then but right now I'm kind of just bouncing around. Like I sort of have like, I don't know, 4 or 5 tracks, that I'm like working on and kind of jumping from one to the next. And I sort of have this like compulsion to like just start something new all the time. And um,
did you work on the song that I sent you?
yeah, no,
Why?
because I'm working on my own thing.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean, I yeah, I don't want to get distracted by your music and your process right now. Like I'm happy to be a listener, but I just wasn't feeling. Yeah, I don't know. I just don't feel I feel like I'm still like trying to find my, like I know I said this last week, but I'm just trying to figure out what it is that I even want to be saying and thinking about, and or what I'm thinking about and how I want to say it. And I actually did this interesting
Oh, I think that you're confused. I'm not saying the song where I asked you to rewrite the chorus. I mean, I sent you a blank track, like a track I just built that you said you liked.
yeah, no. No, I haven't worked on that. Yeah, I don't
Okay.
know. It's weird. It's really interesting. I was thinking about like there's been like Charlie XCX, she put out a whole new like she just made an album in
I love
quarantine
it.
and
I think
put
it's
it out.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And but like I don't know if we're just like we've always had this kind of when I say old school, I don't mean like it's old school. I just mean like we've been doing it for so long that it's kind of hard to get out of the idea that everything you make that you should have to labor over it for at least a certain period of time, and then you
Sure.
you go into the studio and you make it, and then you sort of like think about it and mix it and put it out, and there's artwork and there's a theme and there's like there's a whole culture that builds up whatever. And I'm still just I'm like really caught up thinking about that right now, like, and that feels kind of like maybe a bit old fashioned.
Right. Uh-oh. I don't know if it's just me, but are you guys still seeing me but having trouble seeing Sarah? Or is Sarah breaking up?
Sorry, am I back?
Yeah, you're back, but you're all of a sudden you look real shit like that time where your service went when you said that you went over your limit. It's like you've turned into a pixelated monster.
Like still?
Yeah,
Hold on, let me reconnect.
fix it. Oh shit. I did not know that when I said fix it that she was gonna leave. Should I re-add her or should I just keep her out? Maybe I should just keep her out. I can't even remember what she was blah blah blahing about. She's just going on and on and on. All right, we're re-adding her. See what happens. Oh yeah, that's better.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Sorry, you were going on, and I don't recall what you were saying.
One
What's up?
second.
What's
I think
happening?
Black Cat. I think Black Cat's here. Hold on.
I was super
Oh, it's a
scary,
squirrel.
like someone was being murdered.
Oh, it's a squirrel. It's a squirrel. What I was basically saying is that while I admire people, um, being spontaneous right now, I haven't felt like being spontaneous, but then sometimes I get this thrill thinking about being spontaneous. Like, what if I just like put all the like weird, I've been making these weird kind of like rock dance tracks, and like, what if I just put them all on the internet?
Okay, so let me just sort of take everything you're saying and then like add to it. I think ultimately what you were saying before is that so Charlie XCX just put out a new record while in quarantine. She wrote it and recorded it. It's awesome. What you're saying is that you feel like maybe, and I feel like maybe I'm the same, that we're kind of cut from more of an old school way or like we take time, we write so many songs and we labor and there's a process and and then we put out music and that maybe you're learning to detach. Like maybe we don't need to be so emotionally invested or spend so much time on music. Like maybe there's something, maybe I'm extending beyond what you were saying, but like that you're just trying to let go of maybe the attachment you've had to the way we've done things in the past.
Yeah, I definitely am thinking about that, and I'm also like, maybe the music doesn't have to be. Maybe like before when I thought about putting something out, I would think like, oh, this is going to be out forever and it's important and it's a sort of record of something. And now I'm just kind of like, it could just be like, hey guys, this is what I did this week. Do you like it?
Yeah, I know like you and I had gone down to LA in February and worked on a track and we talked about this idea of like switching out the model that we've had for 10 records where we make a record and we talked about maybe just like releasing a song before we go on tour or something like that and then the more time we sat with the idea the more we like talked ourselves out of it. And it's weird because we've written and released songs for soundtracks or other projects before. Like it's not like everything we do always has to be attached to a record, but I don't know, like where I keep going back to is that the songs that you've been submitting, like especially the first batch of things that you wrote, there's like a real intensity and darkness and there's a lot of emotional depth and I think it's really I think that's why we hold on to the old process. But I also think that like we have held on to a way of doing things for a long time, and I don't think that we should be afraid to make a record during the pandemic and put it out. Like I think that I think we've always told ourselves that people don't need more music from us. That's where we always end up, is like we have these conversations with our management and other people all the time where we're like, oh, nobody needs another Tegan and Sara record. There's already so many. Are you crying?
No, I have allergies and it's raining. So I'm just huddling here next to the house.
Okay. Because all of a sudden you turned it back around and you look like you were bawling. Like you look like you're still crying. Anyway,
I'm not crying.
okay.
My eyes are watering because I thought I was going to sneeze. It's also raining. As we talked about last week, this is a somewhat challenging job on my end. I'm kind of like the news. I'm like the newscaster, you know, out in the world, and you're back in the studio under lights and with perfect position and the camera and the whole thing, and I'm just out here leaning against my expensive cat house that my cats never use while it is a downpour and it's raining and my hair's blowing everywhere and I've got allergies.
Okay. Well, I'll just say this. I think we continue to play and tweak with the equation of like how and when and what to put out into the world. But one thing I think that we always do is we tell ourselves nobody wants another Tegan and Sara record, at least not one quickly. I mean, we're always talking ourselves out of putting out too many songs, and a lot of it I think has to do with the live model. It's because people want to hear Where Does the Good Go, and they want to hear So Jealous, and they want to hear stuff off our first record. And so it feels sometimes so stupid to put out new music because it takes people so long to attach to that music. It's like we might as well just put out a greatest hits. It's a really great shot, Sara.
Thanks.
Anyway, I don't fucking know. All I know is that you're writing some great songs. And you know what? I thought a lot about what I said last week. And you know what? I'm writing really great songs too. Oh, hi, holidays. Ooh, I'm a cat.
Why did you guys get a cat?
Ooh, I'm a cat. I'm a person in a cat suit. Holiday. Remember when you got spayed? I took care of you. Holiday. We talk about getting a cat too. Yes, we might end up having to get a cat. But I want a dog. I want to go outside. I want to run with a dog.
Yeah. I don't know if I think that people don't want a Tegan and Sara record. I think it's just about like, you don't want to, I've always thought that you don't want to like oversaturate. You don't want to burn people out of like thinking about the music that you make, the ideas that you have. Like, you just don't want people to feel like, I don't know, there's like something in our instinct as human beings to want something new, but then also like the more that you give people new things, the less impactful it feels like it is. And so I feel like that's a part of why I want to always make something that feels really different from our previous whatever thing that we put out, because I'm always like, oh, we have to kind of hook them with something unexpected. So I am thinking a lot about that, and like not in like a dramatic way, just in more of like a every day. I'm like, oh, I could just totally switch gears and just make a whole acoustic thing, or like the next day I'm like, oh, I'm just going to use vocal samples, or the next day I'm like, I'm just going to do a whole record in falsetto. Like I'm just like always thinking about that kind of stuff, and then mostly what I do, just to sort of wrap up your question about what do I do when I feel like I'm not being productive, I'm really addicted to watching YouTube clips. Well, they're not even clips, they're long videos of, have you ever heard of Boiler Room? This is something that I would like, if we didn't have, you do know what Boiler Room is?
Yeah. It's like
okay,
that
what is it?
thing where, it's like where people play music stripped down.
They play music stripped down on Boiler Room?
In a boiler room.
In a boiler room. Is that your final answer? Because that's not correct. That is not correct. But you want to give it another shot?
No, it's when people.
Why don't you use some of your deduction skills?
It's when bands or musicians play live alternative versions of their music in boiler room.
No, that's not what Boiler Room is. But anyways, I really like Boiler Room because often it is artists that I really enjoy, mostly electronic artists, and they are in settings that to me feel profoundly intimate and in club
so far I'm
club situations. No, they're in clubs, and and they're doing DJ sets, and it's extremely hipster and exclusive and whatever, and there's always like great people doing it, but I'm really addicted to watching them because I also really like the idea of um our threshold around like how much we can tolerate before we're bored and we want to listen to something else. And I think like sometimes watching electronic sets that sort of like are, they're almost like stream of consciousness, and like all of a sudden you realize like a whole hour has gone by and your attention hasn't waned, and it's like exciting and it's interesting. And I'm like thinking about that because we've really hardwired ourselves of late to like make pop music, like things under 3 minutes, don't bore us, get to the chorus, like lots of hooks, lots of things. And I wonder if there's a way to sort of condition ourselves as a band, but also our listeners, to be more invested in long form songs and ideas.
Right.
And so I've been thinking about that a lot. And yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I think I've been thinking a lot about this in the last, I'm not just the last week or couple months, but just in general. But like I think what the internet and social media has done, I mean, it's done lots of things to the whole world, but specifically to music and specifically to our music is like
Can you put
that.
your hand up just like this? I'll go like this. Why does my hand look so different than your hand?
I'm literally in the middle of saying something.
Sorry.
What's wrong with my hand?
I don't
My
know.
whole
Well,
hand looks
first of all,
like
I don't know. Does my hand look like the same kind of hand? Like, could this be your hand?
it kind of looks dirty.
Well, I was gardening. It's a gardening show.
Right. I don't know. Yeah, I feel like we have the same hands. I feel like
I'm
we
really
have
worried I have arthritis.
okay, what are your symptoms for arthritis?
My hands hurt. They seem like they look different than your hand, like maybe more swollen.
Well, I'm currently attempting to, as you know, me and Sophia are having all sorts of weird health issues. So we've been trying to eat an anti-inflammatory diet or anti-inflammation diet. I don't know. Your hands look fine to me.
But
I can't I can't
ever since you
clutch
guys
anything. I
started
can't put
eating,
these two fingers together and apply pressure. That's like just hurts.
it
My
looked like you
wrist
were applying
just
pressure.
no, no, I'm just this is gently. I can't like it hurts so much. I have like extreme pain right here on both my wrists.
Ever since you started eating an anti-inflammatory diet, you guys have talked about how sick you feel. Has it ever occurred to
Oh,
you
I
that
know. The
something?
healthier I eat, the shittier I feel.
Okay. Why don't you try going? Just
Seriously,
why don't you try a month of just going back to eating however you want, and then see if you feel better?
there's nothing I want more than just to eat crap all the time, but I just don't. I don't know. I don't know what to say. The more vegetables we eat, the shittier we feel. We're sick. We're burping. We're walking around. We're uncomfortable. Like, yeah. And then Sophia will come home and be like, "Oh, I was reading about it, and we just need more water. Our body can't handle all the fiber." And I'm like, you know what? I never had this problem when I was eating McDonald's.
Well, by the way, I think that there certainly is a middle ground between eating however the fuck you guys are eating and eating McDonald's. Like I don't eat poorly, but
Yes,
I also
we eat lots of crap. We eat lots of crap.
oh what, like those plantain chips that you guys allow yourselves every once in a while?
Yeah, not every once in a while. And I drop some off for you. We have almond butter cookies. We have, I don't know what to tell you. Jan, you're right. Exercise is the silent killer. Yes, exactly. I don't know what to tell you. I run 3 days a week. I do yoga. I eat really healthy. I've tried to like change my diet as I've
Me
gotten
too.
older.
I do all
Yeah,
those
and
things.
I feel terrible. My back hurts. I wake up thousands of times a night, thousands of times a night. No
Have
joke.
you and
Like,
Sophia tried sleeping in separate rooms? Stacy and I, we had a fight a couple of weeks ago and we slept in separate rooms. Best sleep of my life. I knew we were fighting. I knew we were fighting, but I also thought to myself like it wasn't just about being in a bed alone. It was about closing the door and closing off the idea of responsibility for the cats, for all the things. Like I just was alone and I went to sleep. I slept. You know when people are like, "Oh, I just closed my eyes and it was morning." Like I don't know
yeah,
what that feels like, but I did 2 weeks ago and I woke
yeah.
up and it was morning and the bed was, it looked as if like it was like a piece of paper had slid between the blanket and the pillow, and then just like the piece of paper slipped back out and the bed was perfectly made. I didn't even have to make the bed again. It was like I'd barely been there, and yet I had slept so comfortably and I had made such a zero
I
impact on the
I
room. It was just
understand. Look,
amazing.
two things. One, I think what's really fucked up about being a musician and and especially musicians of 2 decades now, is that we're used to spending hundreds of nights a year away from anyone and having our own bed, and it is an adjustment to share a bed. You know this, Sophia and I got a king
I
size
would say this
bed.
to Stacey's face, by the way.
No,
I
no,
said
no.
it to
Well,
her face the next day.
you are saying it to her face because she's watching. But we got a king size bed a year ago, Sophia and I, and our big joke, you know this, was that like we still wake up completely like tangled up in the sheets, and like it doesn't matter how
Yeah.
big the bed
So
is.
cute. Just like,
No,
oh yeah, just tangled up with each other. That sounds
no,
so
but
claustrophobic. Yeah.
okay, yeah, whatever. But the point is that like it's completely different when she doesn't sleep in the bed. Like absolutely, she's extremely warm. Sophia's the type of person that absolutely closes her eyes, falls asleep, and then wakes up and it's morning. And I'm the kind of person that closes my eyes, and then every 30 or 40 minutes I wake out of a dead sleep. It's not because I need one of the sleep apnea machines or whatever people are suggesting on the screen here. That's not my issue. My issue is like I think I'm a light sleeper. I think it's like a genetic problem. Like everyone in our family is like a light sleeper. We move around a lot. If there's a noise, we wake up. We're like and I feel like that's part of it. But for like a year and a half now, I've been eating really healthy. I've been exercising
No.
regularly.
Let's not go back to the food thing. I just
No, but I
asked,
just want
have
to
you
say,
tried sleeping one night a week alone? Is what I'm asking. What I'm trying to table here, I'm trying to suggest, is that it's like not when you're fighting. Like obviously that's not ideal.
No, but
But
where am
like
I gonna where is she gonna sleep? On the couch?
well, not she. Maybe she should get the bed and you like. Well, this is what I proposed to Stacey. In theory, one day every 2 weeks you get to sleep in a space where you are unencumbered. You don't have to like we have nighttime chores and morning chores, and like when you go to bed, you know that like
What
from
does
the
that
time
mean? What is nighttime chores and morning chores? What is that? That sounds awful.
nighttime chores, nighttime chores are making sure making sure all the doors are locked, the alarm is on, the security detail of like
That's not a
St.
chore.
Bernard's. Yeah, just making sure that like the compound is under lock and key, making sure the coffee machine is set, making sure the litter box is clean, making sure the couch cushions are puffed. Exactly.
Wait, we do the same thing, and Sophia
No,
never
I
got into
know.
it. Now she does it. We have to puff the cushions before bed.
Yeah, the cushions must be the couch needs to look like it rolled off a fucking truck and it's brand new before I go to bed. Everything must be put away. Everything has to be perfect. All the blinds have to be set a specific way.
Yeah.
It's stressful, night chores.
I know, I understand. Night chores.
Then you go, then again, maybe it's a Wednesday. Every week on Wednesday, one person gets to stay in the ensuite, in the king bed,
Well, I don't have an ensuite.
and
So
the
to
other
answer your
person
question,
goes to
I
the.
hear you. Okay.
So it's only so each person gets once every 2 weeks, one person gets to essentially go away, which is to a guest room or a tent or a hammock or the basement, wherever that is. And
Well, what
that
if you
person
don't have a tent? What if you don't have a tent, a hammock, a basement, a backyard? Like where are we supposed to? So I hear your question,
or
and
couch.
I return your question, which is that like yes, I hear you. It is you. I sleep very well when I sleep alone, but I don't have a guest bedroom. I don't have any of those things. So no, I'm. This all started because I said I didn't eat well. I'm not really complaining about sleeping. I just said I wake up feeling exhausted and my body hurts, and that's just I don't know. That's just
Okay. Well, because what I'm hearing though is that that when you say that you're eating well and you're exercising, and because I'm doing those things too. I eat pretty well. I exercise regularly, and I would not say I feel exhausted. Sometimes, I mean, I did feel lightheaded this week a few times and thought I might faint, but I think it's because I'm anemic.
yeah.
What?
No, I always get to this part of the conversation, no matter who I'm talking to, and talk about this kind of thing, and I'm like, I think
You just don't know. There's no solution.
I don't know that I don't think it's that there's no solution, and I don't not know. It's that okay. Yesterday I spent 9 hours going through footage of us in our early 20s. I'm sick. At one point I show up to rehearsal, my eyes are completely swelled shut, and you say to me, "What's wrong with you?" And then I say, "I don't know." And then it cuts to other footage, and it's before we shoot the walking with a ghost video and
Oh, and I have hives.
you have hives and I have a sunburn and like I don't know, maybe it's always like this.
Well,
Maybe
we're
we've
sickly. I mean, we've
maybe,
always been sickly.
but I just saying like maybe this is just actually reflecting back has allowed me to like be like, oh yeah, well, I think that we've always just our life is highly stressful. Our bodies take a lot of fucking like battering, traveling hundreds of days a year and sleeping in hotels and eating really weird
But
random
what about the
times and
last few
food
months?
and
Like, don't you ever ask yourself, like, God, how
what's
long
wrong?
is it going to take?
Why don't I feel better now? I like eat perfectly. I'm at
I feel
home.
better. No, I do feel better. I'm asking why. Do you ever ask yourself, like, why does Sarah feel better, but I don't feel better?
No, because I part of the reason why I don't think I feel great right now is because I'm working 10 hours a day. I'm like,
Maybe you should stop.
but I don't, what am I going to do?
Rest. Rest.
I don't need rest.
Sounds like you do. You said, I wake up exhausted. This is why I can never be a therapist. I just want to fire you. I want to be like, you know what? You're not hearing words and you're not having comprehension. And it's very frustrating. It's like trying to mix sugar into cold water. Like
Yeah, but
it's
this
not
is what
working.
well, the point that I was trying to get is that sometimes when I feel my best is when I'm stretched thin and I'm working really hard and I'm busy. Right now, we're just at home.
We have
If
not
I'm,
forgotten you're here. I see a lot of comments, but people think that we don't know that they're still there. We do know you're here, and this is a performance. We are performing sisterly intimacy. We are having conversation, and we're trying to let you in on our inner process around art and our relationship to our body and self. And we are aware that you're here because if this was a conversation where you weren't here, all 1,400 of you, we would have already been like
we've hung up 39 minutes ago.
hung up, already had fought, already showed disinterest in each other's experiences. So this is new for us.
We actually we had a long call with our management this week because we decided that Where Does the Good Grow has really pivoted. It's no longer, I mean, it's still about gardening at the beginning. It's still about connecting with our audience, but what it appears to be is that it's the only conversation Sarah and I have every week where we like really listen to each other because you're here. We should be paying all of you. It's like we don't have the patience to really have a conversation with each other. So then we get on here and we actually talk about things that we're really doing and what really mattered to us. And the only reason why we do it is because you're watching.
That's true. One thing that we talked about a lot this week was how successful and how excited people were about our Where's the Good Grow shirt.
Yeah, the t-shirt. Oh yeah, we have to remember to tell you
small successes. No, but just
yeah.
small successes. As artists, we forget how insecure and how vulnerable we are. And, we were like, when we started doing this live stream, we were like, oh, maybe people will be mad because we don't play music and we're not that cool and we don't know how to do technology. And then also, is this a silly idea to make a t-shirt about it? And like, that shit flew off the shelf,
Yeah, we got
as
a
they
lot
say.
of orders and we thank everybody. If you're watching, you
Yeah.
ordered a shirt. Thank you so much. If anyone's watching and you don't know what we're talking about, we have a t-shirt for the show called Where's the Good Grow, and today is the last day to pre-order it. It doesn't mean you won't ever be able to get it again. We'll probably do future orders, but if you want it,
Probably not.
if you want it sooner, then tomorrow we put in the order. So if you want to pre-order the shirt, today's your last day to do it. And thanks to Emmy, who's on this chat right now. Thank you for doing such a great job and making a great shirt. Okay, well, as we get into the final stretch here, is there anything else that you want to talk about?
This whole thing has sometimes when I feel the worst about a live show, it's the best show. And I would say that this has been absolutely the worst show we've done for Where Does the Good Grow. It's been a nightmare. It's been a nightmare for me from the beginning.
Why?
Too many ice cubes in my drink, hair fluffy, rained. I used my power washer, but I'm not sure that it really came off the way that I wanted it to.
Can I make a suggestion about your tools? You know what I would really like for next week? I would like
look at this. Look at this.
It's beautiful.
The way that it's just blowing in the wind like that.
What I would really like for next week is if you could just get an assistant. It could be Emmy, it could be somebody else, to hold your phone.
How would Emmy hold my phone? She lives in Montreal and I live in Vancouver.
Sorry, not Emmy. I get your wives mixed up. Stacy,
Hmm.
If you get Stacy or somebody else, that's why I got confused, to come and hold your phone, I would love to see you operate. And I've asked for this every fucking week, but here are some of the things that everybody wants to see. We want to see you mow your lawn. We want to
I
see you
I did
use the
film
power
myself.
washer. And in order to do that, you need to not be holding the phone. So either invest in a $15 tripod
Why don't you
and
come
put it
over?
on the ground
Why
and
don't
then
you?
set it up and then you press go live and
No,
then you can
no,
mow the
no,
lawn.
no, no. I'm going to tell you why. You should just come over here. We've already doubled the bubble. You're allowed to be around me. You should just come over next week, and we'll have a special guest.
No,
And
I'll
so
tell you what the problem. I'll tell you what the problem with that is that then we lose the format where we're both on screen. And as much as I really want to be behind the camera,
no, not on the show. Not on the show. Like I'm saying, like if you want to film me for Where's the Good Girl, the Instagram account, doing those things.
I
The
see.
problem with it live is that I'm not gonna agree. It's okay, you're not gonna like this analogy, but I have filmed myself a few times doing things with the tools. It's essentially like filming a sex act. It's like if you don't have the right angle, it's disturbing. You think you look cool with a lawnmower or a weed whacker or a power washer, and then you see a video of yourself, and sometimes you look like a disturbing weird character from a movie that all the small kids in the neighborhood are afraid of. Sometimes you look like Slender Man. I mean, it's hard. It's hard to make yourself look cool with a power
Fair.
tool.
Okay.
So it's going to require, and I think I'm cool. Like when I'm like power washing things in my yard, like I feel great. And then I film myself doing it and I'm like, God, do I need like a crane operator and film myself from above? Like it doesn't look good.
Okay, got it.
So
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. I don't know why you thought this episode wasn't great. It's you know what? Actually, as you know, we're going to announce this next week, but everybody who's viewing right now gets a bit of a spoiler. I mean, it's not
I
really a
can't
spoiler
wait to know
because
what
you're
this,
watching. Yeah,
I
well, I was
can't,
just gonna say is that we've been getting everything ready. We're gonna put all the episodes of Where Does the Good Grow Up on YouTube, and we've also been looking at a way to just put up audio so that people can listen to it. And we've been looking at. Are you obsessed with the hand thing again?
go ahead, keep
Honestly,
talking.
thank you. I will keep talking. So we've been working on all these things this past week. I can't even fucking remember what I was gonna say. Why do you keep doing this?
Some
What? There, that's a hand. It's a hand.
but your hand looks so different than my hand. Look at
What
my
does it
hand
look
right now.
like? Well, it's just your hand. It's weird. The light's hitting it. It looks like it does look like a skeleton. It looks like a corpse hand, and I look very tanned, and I haven't even been
So you're
outside.
saying it looks skinny. What about my hair? My hair, the whole show I've hated it.
Your hair does look kind of fucked up.
What about that?
Why don't you wear a hat?
Okay, you were saying that we were going to put all the you had some big announcement, which I was like, what is the announcement? I didn't even know we had one.
Nothing. No, it's not an announcement. I'm just saying we've been. I don't remember. That's the problem. I was talking about how the video is going to go up on YouTube so people can watch it there. The audio is going to go up somewhere else. I haven't decided exactly where yet, so people can just listen to it. Some people don't need to look at us. I can't remember. Oh, I know what I was going to say is that because I'm editing it all, I had to rewatch all the episodes, and I think you know what? It's great. It's a conversation. It's a conversation between us. I don't know why you're being so hard on yourself. Who fucking cares?
You know,
No one's looking at your hair.
Well, I am. You know, it was interesting. Last week we talked about this after the episode because one of the things that's so unique about this format is that for our entire lives as adult baby musicians, we have always had a third person, at least minimum, in the room. So like if we're getting interviewed, there's somebody interviewing us. There's a journalist. There's a radio station person. We're playing shows. We have musicians with us. We're playing live. There's an audience. We're in a rehearsal space. There's somebody holding the camera. You know, there's always someone around. But this is actually okay. We know that there's an audience. Obviously, like we know that there are people watching. But this is the first time we've had to just have a conversation alone. Do you know?
But yeah, but we're not alone. There's thousands of people who've watched.
But I don't know where they are. That's just numbers. It's just theoretical. I don't really know that that's happening. Like in every other conversation, there's literally someone there. Like we're
Yes,
alone.
I think what's really cool. We've been talking.
I think we're alone now. There doesn't seem to be anyone around. I think we're alone now. Then it gets like it's a romantic song, so I'll skip that part.
Well, what happens next? I can't even remember.
The beating of my heart is the only sound.
Cool.
Anyways, I just think that's cool. I think that's an
No.
interesting
What I was going to
thing.
say was that we were talking this week about comparing this to when we did Forest Phone, which was the TV show we set up in our basement when we were making the con.
But Angela was there filming.
No, I know, but we were saying that all we need is one person, and
There's
that's
no,
good
but there,
enough, and that's a
there's
great
no one
audience
person.
for us. Well, I
There's
know.
no audience.
Well, there is an audience. I can see because I can see that people, there's like these hearts flying up on the screen and there's like words all over your face. So I can see that people are here.
I don't know. I don't think you're understanding what I'm trying to say. I don't feel like you hear me.
Say it again. Use different
Okay.
words.
Whenever we are having conversations for public consumption, there's literally at least one other physical person in the space.
I see. So what you're saying is that you and I are talking to each other. No one can moderate. No one can jump in.
And there's like literally no one here. I mean, all my neighbors could be huddled behind the fence because they're fascinated by these one-way conversations that they hear me having loudly in my backyard. But that's it. I don't even think Stacy's paying attention. She's like in there like cleaning and doing things. She's probably listening to a podcast.
She's getting a jump on nighttime chores.
She's doing nighttime chores. Well, we do a pre-puff of the couch before dinner.
All right. Well, as always, I enjoyed this very much. I don't think this was our worst episode. I look forward to this all week. Specifically because I get to see how your garden's doing. It's the most coherent conversation you and I have and the longest. It gives me something to look forward to. I had a great time.
Good.
Loved everybody that was here, being here. Thanks for your comments as always.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad you're enjoying it. Pre-order the t-shirt if you haven't. The link's in our Instagram bio. We've got a lot of really fun things coming down. We've got some announcements coming.
Mm-hmm.
I'm most excited. There's a really good one tomorrow afternoon. Stay tuned. Something really fun's coming. Do you know what I'm talking about, Sara?
No.
Did you see the email I just sent before this call with all the photos that I took?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's fine. It's not like, I mean, you made it seem like it was something really exciting, but it's fine.
It is exciting.
It's good, yeah. I mean, it's fun.
Asshole. Okay, everybody, we're gonna go. This was
It's
fun.
like when Dad, remember that one time we went to Dad's on the weekend and he kept the whole, like, he would pick us up on Saturday morning at noon and he'd drop us back home on Sundays. And the whole Sunday, from the time he picked us up in his car, he was like, oh, I have to do errands. He would always pick us up and we would have to like do his like weekend stuff. Like we would go to the bank and then we would go to the Safeway and get food for dinner. And maybe every once in a while we'd get like a rental video to watch or whatever. But the whole day, do you remember? He was like, I have got a surprise for you.
Yeah.
Got a surprise for you. And like, we were kids. So we were like, oh my God, like, what is it? Is it a Nintendo? Like, is it something awesome? And he just kept being like, you're going to be so excited. And then when we got home, he'd bought a new frying pan. And we were like, wow, Dad, that is probably exciting for an adult.
But he was just fucking with us.
It was sadistic.
Yeah.
It was sadistic.
Was that the same weekend that he pulled up the whoopee cushion?
No.
Oh.
Although it could have been the same weekend where there was a bunch of balloons in our bedroom.
Well, what he had said to us was that they'd had a work birthday. Like someone at his work had had a birthday and they'd filled that person's office with balloons. And so we thought and then he kept prepping us like, oh, there's
maybe then I made it
for you. And so then when we opened our bedroom door, there was like a couple of balloons and we were like, okay, so wait, that wasn't the surprise. We thought that he'd brought all the balloons. And how sad that for us, like we weren't like 4 years old. We were like 10 or 12 years old, that we were so excited that there was going to be a room of balloons. What would we have even done with that?
I think it's just like, you're a kid. It's like when you're a kid, you're like hyped up. Like it's like you're stoned all the time. Not literally stoned, but like you're like, everything's exciting. So when someone promises you a surprise, you're imagining like what's going to like, But yeah, it was the thing I'm remembering. It was definitely a frying pan. So anyways, I gotta go. But
you always finish these calls like you're the one wrapping it up. When I start the wrap up, then you interrupt me, tell a story, and then you're like, I gotta get out of here.
I gotta go.
Okay, well, you know what? I actually got to get out of here, so I'm going to end it.
Obviously.